is not doing an incredible job. You push states to open too soon. You threaten states with lawsuits.
I didn't ask states to open. I didn't ask states to open.
You threaten with lawsuits for those states that wanted to have stay-at-home orders, Mr.
For things like church.
We have the facts. I'm going by the facts.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
And now the country, the United States of America, has more than 4.3 million COVID cases alone. You, Mr. Barr, and President Trump, working together, are letting my constituents down. And it's something that you are going to have to live with. What am I supposed to say to my constituents when they ask me if the government has done everything in its power to protect their loved ones from dying? You tell me, Mr. Barr, what am I supposed to tell them?
I would tell them that managing this kind of thing requires a lot of difficult choices and weighing different consequences.
I'm not going to lie. I am not going to lie to my constituents. I am going to tell them that President Donald Trump and the Attorney General, working together, are not following health guidelines. They're letting Americans die needlessly because of political reasons. That is what I will tell them, Mr. Barr. Thank you. And one last question, if I can.
In our system.
Under oath, do you commit to not releasing any report by Mr. Durham before the November election?
No.
You don't commit to that?
No.
So you won't go by Department of Justice policy that you won't interfere in any political investigations before the November election?
We're not going to interfere. In fact, I've made it clear I'm not going to tolerate it.
But under oath, you're saying that you do not commit to not releasing a report by Durham?
I'm not going to... any report will be, in my judgment, not one that is covered by the policy, and it would disrupt the election. I've already made it clear that neither
you would go against your own Department of Justice policy, Mr. Barr.
Why don't you tell me what that policy is?
Oh, I have it right here.
Well, actually...
Do you want me to repeat it for you?
No, I know what the policy is.
The time of the gentlelady.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Gentlelady.
Mr. Chairman, point of order. Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
What purpose does the gentleman seek?
Is it permissible for a member of this committee to accuse the sitting Attorney General of the United States of murder? Because that's what we just heard. Those words need to be struck from this record. This is outrageous.
The members control the time.
Mr. Chairman.
To say whatever they want? What about rules of decorum?
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I actually have a clarification. Mr. Chairman.
Escobar.
No, this, I just...
Escobar is recognized.
Thank you,
Mr.
Chairman.
Was the video played by the previous member, was that a video of things that happened in the United States or in Venezuela? I just want a clarification. What was the video?
The gentleman is not stating a cognizable point of order. Mr. Escobar is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Barr, the administration, against the constitutional text, historical precedent, and DOJ's own memo, is trying to exclude undocumented persons from the census, an action that harms American lives and immigrant communities, and American communities. Here's an example. Many American children are living with an undocumented parent or relative. This change in the census means that those children, American children, would receive less money for programs like the National School Lunch Program, Head Start, or the State Children's Health Insurance Program. A simple yes or no, please, Mr. Barr. Are you comfortable with a decision that would punish American children and immigrant communities in this way?
I don't make the policy. I provide legal advice on legal issues. So as both to this issue and the issue of the ACA, the question presented to the department is the law.
Reclaiming my time, sir. Mr. Barr, a simple yes or no. Does the Constitution say that only citizens should be counted in the census?
No.
Correct. It does not. In fact, the framers of the 14th Amendment explicitly confronted this question, and it provides that persons in each state be counted. I'll move on.
Well, they wouldn't have confronted it because there were no illegal aliens
Among many other things, I'm alarmed by your department's refusal to comply with and implement key Supreme Court rulings. On June 18th of this year, the Supreme Court, in an opinion authored by Chief Justice Roberts, ruled that the Trump administration's attempt to rescind Daca was arbitrary and capricious, and required the administration to process new Daca applications. Despite the Supreme Court's ruling, 0 Daca applications have been processed. That's not the only Supreme Court decision your administration has ignored. In 2017, your department issued a memo stating that transgender workers were not protected by civil rights laws. The Supreme Court struck that down too.
No, I'm
In
sorry.
both
What
the
we had
DACA
said
sir,
was
there's
the
no question for you
64
yet.
Act did
Excuse
not
me.
extend to.
Reclaiming my time, sir. In both DACA, the DACA and transgender decisions, your department has yet to comply. Yes or no? Will the department implement the Supreme Court's DACA and transgender rulings?
Yes, I think we are.
The DACA ruling?
Yes.
You are now processing DACA applications?
I think what we're trying to do now is restore the administrative process. And
Sir,
I think
okay,
DHS has put out a rule.
reclaim
I think
my time.
DHS put out a rule
Thank
today.
you, sir. Sir, earlier you testified.
At least that's what I was told.
You testified that you discussed the president's reelection campaign with him. Does the president tell you what he thinks the winning issues for him would be in his reelection?
I'm not going to discuss my discussions with the president.
I'm not asking you to divulge anything private or classified.
Well, I think my
Does
discussions with the president
mention-
are confidential.
Okay. Have you?
But it
and the
shouldn't
pres-
surprise you in an election year, the topic of the election comes up.
Well, it surprises me that the DOJ has become so politicized. That's what surprises me. Sir, have you and the president ever discussed the fact that anti-immigrant and anti-LGBTQ policies excite his base?
No.
You've never had that conversation. He's never told you that his anti-immigrant policies, his anti-LGBTQ policies gin up his base.
I haven't discussed that with him, but I assume the immigration, I think a lot of his base does care about immigration policy.
Does that motivate some of the work that you do?
Like what work?
Well, for example, your enthusiasm for...
That position was taken on the transgender that you're talking about was taken before I arrived in that litigation, I believe.
And you can reverse it any day. And my question was whether you...
No, it was a
were going to
legal
reverse
question
it.
as to whether the 64 Act extended to transgender. I think it was...
I'm running out of time, sir. One more question. You keep telling us that you're not aware of the president's tweets. Are you aware that your department has stated that the president's tweets are official White House statements?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
I don't pay
So it
attention
goes
to the
back
tweets unless they're brought to
2017.
my attention.
Okay, Mr. Barr, thank you so much for being here today. I want to remind you of something you probably don't remember, but some months ago, you actually were outside my office. You were coming out of my neighbor, Doug Collins' office. I tapped you on the shoulder, and in a friendly reminder, I handed you a copy of the Constitution, and I asked you to please help us defend the Constitution. There's nothing more dangerous to our republic than an attorney general who refuses to uphold his oath, refuses to uphold and defend the Constitution, and swears allegiance to just one person, Donald Trump.
No,
Sadly, that's where we are today.
My loyalty is the
Mr. Chairman, I
Constitution.
yield back.
That's why I came into government.
Gentlelady yields
The
back.
lady just accused him of not adhering to his oath of office. Let him talk. Holy, she just
gentlelady-
accused the Attorney General of the United States not adhering to his oath. Let the gentleman
gentlelady will-
speak.
Even worse.
The gentleman will suspend. The gentlelady yields back. The ranking member asks whether the video shown by the gentlelady from Florida took place in the U.S. or in Ecuador.
No, Venezuela.
And that, sir, in the U.S. or Venezuela. And that, sir, is precisely the point. This concludes
No.
today's
She
hearing.
was
We
making.
thank the Attorney
My
General
point was
for
it was
participating.
Venezuela.
Thank the Attorney General for participating without objection. All members will have 5 legislative days to submit additional written records for the witnesses or additional materials for the record. Without objection, the hearing is adjourned.